Born and raised. I went to Field Elementary, Washington Middle School, Wilson Middle School, John Muir High School, Pasadena City College. It was rough, growing up, coming up on Summer Street, Marengo, different neighborhoods, different races. We just growing up around the games, I had to basically choose one side, if I want to do that part of my life or if I wanted to, be an athlete. A lot of my friends went this way and I went that way. But most of all, this is a beautiful city, so growing up here I got to see a lot, growing up around all my old uncles and cousins and stuff, that was doing some good things in the community. I kind of knew when I wanted to be an artist when I found out I had cancer and I couldn't really use my body the way I wanted to. I grew up playing sports, so playing sports, you had to use a lot of your physical. But I always was a writer, where I met, I grew up idolizing, LL Cool J, Eric B. and Rakim, Tribe Called Quest, different hip hop groups. I was always the outspoken one in the group. But my boy was already a DJ, and I just had this thing for the microphone. I had a thing to getting on the microphone and getting the crowd hype and getting people going. I never was afraid to the spotlight. So eventually, like I said, I found out I had cancer and I had to stop using my physical and I had to go to using my mental. And once I figured I had a purpose in saying some things, that most artists won't say on the microphone, or just talking about different subjects that most artists are afraid to talk about, I figured, the microphone is a way for me. That's the voice of, being the voice of the people. Musically, my style is, I don't have a style. I'm kind of like water. I'm kind of shapeless. You can't form me. You can't put me in a category. You can't say I'm this. You can't say I'm gangster. You can't say I'm thug. You can't say I'm just regular hip hop. Kind of like Kendrick Lamar said, I'm classic, man. But I don't have a style. I think to have a style would limit you from being an artist, and being an artist is all about being versatile. So I don't really formulate myself having a style. Togetherness. I think it just takes it starts with the men, of course, just like it does in the household. I think, for not only artists, but businesses, to develop businesses and develop that togetherness and that support for each other in the community. First of all, we have to get rid of the gangs, because Pasadena is a beautiful, bossy city, and nothing here says anything about that type of life. You feel me? To me, we don't have any hoods here. Not to take away from what brothers do. I mean, to each his own. They live their life, so I don't judge them by that. But I mean, we have to. That's what's separating us. That's what's putting us to that limit to where we can't come together. Everybody fight for that money, fight for that top spot. And we can just start actually really supporting each other. Not only as artists, but like I said, as business. As businesses. It could happen, definitely. Of course, I would definitely be willing to move to one, because I've seen the ups and downs, the ins and outs of this game. It's they don't call it the game of Satan for nothing. You're dealing with some dark forces and some different things, that that come along with it. But if you can play the game, you know, the game is to be played. If you can play it the right way, then, you know, I would suggest yes. Because, you know, if you're an artist and you like to be artistic and you have a voice, you gotta realize too, young brothers out there that's trying to come into this game, you know, of entertainment, that you have a voice, and your voice is the voice of the people. So when you say what you say on these records and you put out these videos and you put out these certain images for people to see, you have to realize what you're doing and why you're doing it. It has to have a purpose along with it. So know if you're coming into this game that you're gonna deal with more than just, you know what I'm saying, you know, what we so unquote call haters. You're gonna deal with a lot of politics. There ain't no hating, you know. That's just a fashionable word that they use to keep us down, you know, to keep us separated and looking at each other as, you know, as we don't have love for each other, you know. So, you know, I would definitely love to mentor, you know, some young brothers or young kids, you know, doesn't matter the race, that wants to come into this, you know, into the music game. You know, it's a lot of hard work, but in the end, you know, like I said, if you have that voice and you have that energy and you really got something to say, then I suggest that's what you do. Well, my past projects, my first group, you know, I came into this game with was my boys and still my boys, you know, Empire Family. We put out an album back in '97, '98 called The Time Is Coming. You know, we basically talked about, you know, wars, government. You know, we was on something else back then. But then we moved on to my project, The Rose Boys, with me and my boy Cashflow, which we did my album after that was Story of My Life with The Rose Boys. We did some good things with that record. That record built us a fan base, you know. And now the project I'm working with now, I've just signed a deal over with Universal Music Group, basically, and with the other record company, Street Notes Records. I'm doing a solo project, which is a black and white story. The black and white story is about the ups and downs of my life, things that I've been through in my life, that I've seen, the true story of my life. Because other records I didn't feel like I can express myself due to being held down in company situations and image situations, and, you know, them trying to build images for you as an artist. So this record is completely me. It's, you know, it's like I said, it's about the ups and downs of my life, you know, everything I've seen behind closed doors, all in that, and it's some of the best work I've ever done, and I just can't wait for the world to hear it. You know, this music thing has been my purpose, and I'm gonna fulfill it. Just help people, you know. I want to be able to help people out that need to know about the business. You know, I can consult them if I can, you know, tell them, you know, help them don't make the same mistakes I made as an artist, as a person, as a man, you know. Those are my goals.